Imagine two men standing at opposite ends of a gym. On one side there's Andrew Tate, muscles bulging, expensive watch gleaming, surrounded by luxury cars and speaking about escaping the matrix. On the other side stands Jordan Peterson, professorial, measured, talking about ancient myths and psychological research while urging young men to clean their rooms. Both claim to have the answers to modern masculinity, but their approaches couldn't be more different. In this video, we're comparing Andrew Tate's hustle-focused approach to manhood against Jordan Peterson's intellectual path to self-improvement. Let's start with the basics. Andrew Tate rose to fame as a kickboxing world champion before transforming into an online personality known for his luxury lifestyle and controversial opinions. Imagine that one super confident uncle who shows up to family gatherings in a Bugatti and won't stop telling everyone how to get rich. That's Tate's online persona in a nutshell. Jordan Peterson, meanwhile, emerged as a psychology professor from the University of Toronto, who gained fame through his lectures, books, and interviews. He's more like that philosophy teacher you had, who blew your mind with ideas about ancient myths and kept telling you to stand up straight with your shoulders back. Both men have massive followings of predominantly young males, seeking guidance in a world where traditional masculinity seems increasingly confusing. It's like they're both selling maps through a wilderness, but they're pointing in completely different directions. Tate's philosophy centers around extreme discipline. Wake up at 5 a.m., cold showers, constant hustle, never rest. For him, masculinity is about conquering physical challenges, financial obstacles, and basically dominating every room you walk into. You cannot be a winner without discipline, Tate often says. The difference between me and most people is, I'm willing to do the hard things. In Tate's world, discipline means punishing yourself into success. Imagine a drill sergeant constantly screaming in your ear that you're not doing enough. That's the Tate method. Peterson approaches discipline differently. He advocates for structured responsibility, seeing discipline as a pathway to meaning rather than just material success. The proper path of life is to take on as much responsibility as you can bear, Peterson explains. If you do that, then your life will have meaning, and if your life has meaning, then you can bear the suffering of existence. In Peterson's view, discipline isn't about punishing yourself into success, it's about building yourself into someone who can handle life's challenges. It's like the difference between a coach who just makes you run laps until you vomit, versus one who teaches you the fundamentals of the game while building your endurance. What does success actually look like? This is where our two internet philosophers truly diverge. For Tate, success has clear, visible markers: luxury cars, expensive watches, beautiful women, and material wealth. I woke up in my Bugatti today, he might say, suggesting that true success is measured by what you own and how others perceive your status. It's like measuring your worth as a person by your Instagram highlights reel. Got a new car? Success. Fancy vacation? Success. Big house? Major success. For many young men, this vision is incredibly appealing because it's so crystal clear. Get money, buy stuff, show it off, repeat. Peterson offers a more internal vision of success. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today, he advises. Success in Peterson's world is about personal growth, finding meaning, and becoming psychologically stronger. This is more like measuring your life by how well you're handling challenges compared to your past self. Are you braver than you were a year ago? More honest? More capable of handling difficult situations? In Peterson's view, these internal metrics matter far more than external displays of wealth. Consider two students. One gets straight A's, but cheats on every test, while the other works hard for solid B's through honest effort. Tate might admire the outcome-focused A student, while Peterson would value the process-oriented B student. This fundamental difference shapes everything else in their philosophies. Perhaps nowhere do Tate and Peterson differ more dramatically than in their views on relationships and women. Tate often frames male-female relationships in terms of power, conquest, and traditional gender roles taken to an extreme. Andrew Tate claims, women belong to the man they submit to. In his worldview, men should be dominant providers, while women should be submissive caregivers. Imagine a teenager whose only understanding of relationships comes from watching 1950s TV shows, combined with modern music videos. That's roughly the Tate approach to gender dynamics, simultaneously old-fashioned and hypersexualized. Peterson, though often advocating for recognizing biological differences between men and women, frames relationships more as partnerships between complementary forces. Jordan Peterson says, the proper relationship between husband and wife is for each to lead when they know best. He emphasizes mutual respect and shared responsibility rather than domination. Think about two dance partners. They may have different roles, but they succeed by working together rather than one person controlling the other. For a young person trying to figure out dating, Tate offers simple but potentially harmful rules of conquest, while Peterson suggests the more complex but ultimately more fulfilling path of mutual growth. How should a man handle emotions? Again, our two guides offer radically different approaches. Tate often portrays emotional expression in men as weakness. "Real men don't cry" could easily be his motto. His approach treats emotions as obstacles to overcome or suppress in the pursuit of power and success. It's like telling someone with a broken leg to just ignore the pain and keep running. Peterson takes a more balanced approach to emotions. Jordan Peterson points out, you don't get to choose not to have the emotions that you have. Instead, he advocates for integrating emotions into a complete personality, while not being ruled by them. Peterson's approach is more like learning to listen to the pain in your leg, understanding what it's telling you, and then making intelligent decisions about how to proceed. The emotion serves as information, rather than an obstacle. For example, if you're feeling anxious about an upcoming test, Tate might tell you to man up and push through it, while Peterson would suggest understanding the anxiety as a sign that you care about your performance and channeling that energy into proper preparation. How should a man engage with society? Here we see perhaps the most telling contrast. Tate's worldview often frames society as something to be conquered, manipulated, or escaped from. Andrew Tate might say, "The Matrix has you trapped," suggesting that most people are sheep, while his followers can become wolves. It's like viewing life as a video game, where you're trying to rack up the highest score while defeating other players. In Tate's world, society becomes merely the arena for your personal conquest. Peterson sees society differently, as a complex set of traditions, responsibilities, and potential that individuals should engage with meaningfully. Jordan Peterson often says, "The world needs your contribution," encouraging people to find where they can add value, rather than simply extract it. Peterson's view is more like seeing life as a community garden, where your job is to tend your plot well, while helping maintain the whole system. In Peterson's world, your success is intertwined with the health of the broader community. For a young person wondering about their place in the world, these contrasting visions offer very different paths. Tate essentially says, take what you can get, while Peterson suggests, give what you can offer. Despite their many differences, Tate and Peterson do share some common ground. Both emphasize taking responsibility for your life. Neither believes in victimhood as a permanent state. The importance of physical fitness. Both advocate for physical training, though for different reasons. The value of masculine traits. Both believe certain traditionally masculine characteristics have important social value. Rejecting comfort is the ultimate goal. Both warn against seeking only comfort and ease in life. It's like they're both looking at the same map, but highlighting completely different routes to the destination of a meaningful male life. Tate emphasizes external conquest, while Peterson focuses on internal integration. But both recognize that passive comfort-seeking leads nowhere good. So here's the million-dollar question. Which approach actually creates better outcomes for men in the modern world? The answer, as with most complex questions, isn't black and white, and depends partly on what you want to achieve. If your primary goal is rapid material success, and you're willing to sacrifice almost everything else to get there, Tate's high-intensity approach might yield faster visible results. It's like choosing to sprint a marathon. You'll look impressive at the beginning, but there's a serious question about whether you can maintain it. A real-life example, I had a friend who followed a Tate-like philosophy. He started 3 businesses simultaneously, worked 18-hour days, cut off friends who didn't add value, and within 2 years had indeed made his first million. He also developed chronic insomnia, lost his long-term relationship, and confessed to feeling empty, despite the money. The external success came with internal costs. Peterson's approach typically yields slower external results, but more sustainable internal growth. Another friend embraced more Peterson-like principles, focusing on building competence in his field, developing meaningful relationships, and working through his psychological issues. 8 years later, he has a successful business, a strong marriage, and reports feeling fulfilled. The path was slower, but potentially more sustainable. The research on success and well-being suggests that while intense drive and hustle can indeed create short-term wins, psychological integration and meaning correlate more strongly with long-term success and life satisfaction. Think of it this way. Tate's approach is like building a house that looks impressive from the outside, but might have serious structural problems. While Peterson advocates building a solid foundation first, even if it takes longer to complete the visible structure. Here's where things get interesting. Most successful men actually incorporate elements from both approaches, rather than following either one exclusively. The healthiest path might involve borrowing Tate's intensity and drive without his extremism or materialism, adopting Peterson's psychological depth and meaning-seeking without potentially getting lost in endless self-reflection. How to develop your own framework based on your unique strengths, weaknesses, and goals. Imagine you're cooking dinner. Tate gives you a blowtorch, powerful, but potentially dangerous. Peterson hands you a set of measuring spoons, precise but potentially slow. The wisest chef knows when each tool is appropriate and uses them accordingly. For young men specifically, the developmental task isn't choosing between these models, but integrating the valuable aspects of both while discarding what doesn't serve you. The maturity comes in recognizing that neither extreme holds all the answers. Beyond these two figures, the conversation about masculinity continues to evolve. Researchers in psychology, sociology, and gender studies offer evidence-based perspectives that often provide more detailed shades of gray than either Tate or Peterson. The healthiest approach might be seeing these internet personalities as starting points rather than final authorities, doorways into a broader exploration of what it means to be a good man in the modern world. After all, masculine virtues like courage, strength, and protection have tremendous value when paired with other human virtues like compassion, wisdom, and connection. The goal isn't to be the most stereotypically masculine man, but rather the most complete human being who expresses masculine traits in healthy ways. So, where does this leave us? With a recognition that the journey to becoming a good man is both simpler and more complex than either Tate or Peterson might suggest. It's simpler because certain principles have always remained true. Work hard, tell the truth, take care of yourself and others, contribute something meaningful to the world. It's more complex because applying these principles in the modern world requires careful balance, adaptability, and integration, rather than rigid adherence to any single philosophy. Perhaps the wisest approach is to learn from various teachers while remembering that your life is ultimately your own creation. Take what serves you, leave what doesn't, and focus on becoming someone you genuinely respect when you look in the mirror. After all, the measure of a man isn't found in his watch collection or even his bookshelf. It's found in the impact he has on the people and world around him. Whether you lean more toward Tate's drive or Peterson's depth, that fundamental truth remains. What do you think? Are you more drawn to Tate's high-intensity approach or Peterson's psychological depth? Or have you found your own path that incorporates elements of both? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you found this analysis helpful, make sure to smash that subscribe button. We'll be diving into more fascinating comparisons between influential thinkers in the weeks ahead. Remember, the algorithm loves engagement almost as much as Andrew Tate loves his Bugatti. So, don't forget to like and share if you enjoyed this breakdown.